Greetings, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. And here are your hosts, the Hot Pockets impresario, Johnny Bottles, and the neckbeard psychologist, Dr. Don Wayne.
That's you.
That's me.
That's you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Johnny Bottles. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast, the fastest hour and 15 minutes on a Thursday night you'll ever see. To my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist. You know him. You love him from Twitter. Not if you're an AEW neckbeard, though. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it right there. Last night, they had a show, Don, and you forced me to watch it.
Oh, don't you put that? Don't you put it on me?
You forced me to watch it, and even AEW neckbeards on Twitter have even said that show was hot garbage. One guy even said the first half hour of AEW Dynamite was the worst half hour of AEW Dynamite in history.
That's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot.
By the way, I again want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Yes. Unlike the cleanup crew at a P. Diddy party, I'm glad you came. Oh my God, I watched this show last night. I couldn't believe it. We're going to get to it, folks. We're going to cover a couple things first. We covered SmackDown. We covered Raw. But there's new news on SmackDown.
New news.
SmackDown's going to 3 hours.
In January.
The thing we're getting that nobody asked for, we're going to get it. I mentioned the man already. This is just like a P. Diddy party. You didn't ask for it, and you're getting it anyway. So here we go. Somebody come clean this mess up. God knows.
You may fall asleep after the second hour, but you'll, like a P. Diddy party, you'll wake up.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. The super chat is open if you've got something you want to say, be it about P. Diddy or AEW from last night. But I'm not real big on this idea of making SmackDown 3 hours, Bottles. I'm just not. I don't need two wrestling shows for the same company going 2+ hours each week. It's just not needed, in my opinion. It's overkill. You can drive the fan base away when you start doing this stuff. I didn't like 3 hours of Raw for the past several years. I thought 2 hours was a perfect round number. You get in, you watch it, you have a good time, you get the hell on with life or something else.
Look, SmackDown was the bigger show ratings-wise on Fox for years. It always consistently drew more than Raw did, especially during football season. So SmackDown was a bigger show. It's got Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, Heyman, all that drama going on over there. They got Cody Rhodes, arguably the biggest star in the company. So, with that being said, it's a smart move because if you go and expand the show to 3 hours, an extra hour worth of ads that you can sell on the USA Network.
Fox says sell.
Fox says sale.
Daddy says sale. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I think it's a horrible idea. 2 hours. I was so looking forward to just having that 2 hour show on Fridays, not going until 11 o'clock. 10 to 11 on a Friday night for a core audience. That's, the demo, which is 18 to 49 now, I think is what they shoot for. Isn't that what the new is?
No. The demo for WWE is like 31 or 33 to 54 or something like that. It's old.
18 to 54, old. Whatever it is. I'm just saying that's the key demo now. When I was younger, the key demo was 18 to 36. That was what they considered the key demo when I was watching wrestling.
Right. But the older folks now, WWE shows skew towards the older folks. Like you and I, Don, The old folks.
Talking about yourself here?
No,
look, I got a few gray hairs.
Hey, pal.
I'm just glad the son of a bitch has stayed in.
Good point. Very good point.
I've fallen out yet.
You can have the Letterman going on like what I got. I go to the barber. I say, give me the Letterman. Actually, I go to the barber and say, make me look like Brad Pitt, honey, will you? She's been unsuccessful all these years.
So, yeah, I wanted to cover that real quick. Just not real happy they're going to 3 hours. I felt like a 2 hour time slot was the moneymaker. I'm hoping that Raw is going to be one of those, like we talked about, it's 2 hours plus, but I don't know that it's set in stone that it's got to be 3 hours each week. So we're going to see how that works out because we had read We had read that they weren't set in a 3-hour show. So we're going to see where this thing goes on. There's some other news going on this week from wrestling sources.
Ooh, what do you got? What do you got?
Kevin Owens' contract is a hot button issue right now, and I think you and I have differing opinions. I honestly believe AEW is going to throw a bag of money at Kevin Owens to get him to come over, like the $5 million range. That's sort of what just my opinion. I feel like they're going to throw as much money as they can to bring him over. His contract's coming up, and you've got to look at it in this other lens as well. He's getting a little bit older. He's a little bit older star. He's got to get as much money as he can right now while he's still got some drawing power left in the eyes of Tony Khan. You don't think he's going to leave? Why? I think he's going to go if they offer him enough money.
He's been with the WWE for how many years now? 10 years?
Probably.
10 years, probably. Do you see Kevin Owens being a main event guy? Do you see Kevin Owens having the championship belt? Any championship belt in AEW? I know they'll give him one.
Yes, I do.
If he comes in, they'll give him one. They'll give him the international title or whatever, just to keep him placated, or a tag title. But do you see Kevin Owens being a needle mover? Do you see him main eventing pay-per-views like crazy for WWE? No. Of course not.
Not for WWE, no.
Every time he leaves, every time that contract comes up in WWE, he's going to go to AEW where his friends are. He's good friends with the Young Bucks. He's friends with the Young Bucks and Hangman and Kenny Omega and all those guys. He's going to go over there. He's going to go over there with those guys. He's going to be happy for a change. He's happy now rolling in those wheelbarrows full of money that he brings home for the wife. He's not going anywhere, dude.
Okay. I guess we're going to disagree to agree. Because
but then again, look, I didn't have Ricochet changing up on my bingo card.
Yeah, I did. So I think this smells like another one of those guys that WWE goes, yeah, but like you said, I don't see him as our champion in 5 years. I don't see him in our main event in 5 years. He's got to be able to take the role of it's time to put over younger talent. Because look, that NXT roster, it's about to get shuffled. There's about to be some guys and gals moving up the card that you and I might not see coming. That might get made. I mean, you've got to look at a guy like LA Knight too. How much longer's he got in the bag? He's an older wrestler. He's at the top right now, but he's an older wrestler. Now he fits more of the WWE style. I'll agree with you there. But Kevin Owens is for the sickos. They'd love his ass. I'm just saying it makes more sense to me for him to be coming in.
If he took his armpits, his horribly misshapen, his horribly disfigured armpits with a peach pit underneath that right arm, and he left WWE, I wouldn't miss him a bit. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't add anything to my watching experience, my wrestling enjoyment when he's on WWE TV. Doesn't add anything at all. He looks like the guy who drives a ring truck. He's got the gut, the shaggy facial hair, blank expression on his face when he walks in the ring. It is what it is, dude. It is what it is. Now, he could promo. Great promo. But he doesn't do anything.
At times, it's a great promo. I don't think it's great all the time.
He doesn't do anything that anyone else cannot do.
I'd agree there.
Yes. Yes. Let him go to AEW if he wants to go. Take that gut and go to AEW. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Another guy that will fall on his face in AEW. As Kevin Steen, of course.
I think
look at Ricochet. Ricochet's doing so great.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
What?
Trust me.
I think he's doing fantastic, Don. It's marvelous. Ricochet is just he's living up to his full potential in AEW. Wrestling men with goat's heads. Next week, he's wrestling a man in a full HR puff and stuff suit. He's going to wrestle that guy. 2 out of 3 falls.
There's other news from this show, the AEW show. Adam Cole and Julia Hart were backstage at the show.
Ooh. Oh,
I forgot Julia Hart was still a person. We haven't seen her in like a year, right? No, I'm serious. We haven't seen her in like a year. She's been gone for so long. I forgot she was even still in the company, man.
Not a full year. She had a shoulder injury that she had to get surgically corrected. And she dropped her title. I will say, she dropped that title. I think she was a TBS champ at one time. She dropped that title with the bad injury. She actually worked the match and dropped the title. So kudos to her. And who else did you say? Adam Cole?
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole must have been delivering DoorDash order.
I don't know. Look, I don't care what Adam Cole does personally. I've never been a fan of his. I know he had his fans when he was in NXT. I didn't get it then. I saw a small guy that really didn't get over with me. Sorry. Hate me for it. He didn't scream professional wrestler when I saw him on television. Now, he's been sitting on his thumbs playing video games for the past, year now? Not lifting a single weight, not getting tan. He doesn't look the part. And if you're going to bring him back looking like the ghost of Christmas past, I don't care if he's on TV or not.
Buddy, that whole AEW run, he's never looked the part. He looked like a Starbucks barista at one point in time. Skinny as a rail, hair pulled up in a man bun, orange spray tan.
Did you say rails?
Nail. Skinny as a
rail.
Skinny as a rail. Skinny
Rails,
as a rail.
yes.
Not rails. Not those kind of rails. Not the kind of rails that are in the owner's office.
I do want to thank again everybody for joining us tonight. Please hit that like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe. We are 15 views away from that magic 1,000 number. We would surely appreciate, or 15 subs, just subs. Subway. We are 15 subs away from 1,000. It's been the push. Really appreciate your guys' supports. Thank you so much.
$5 foot long.
Those days are way gone. There's also some Mercedes Moné. We're going to talk about Mercedes at AEW. Don't get me wrong. But Mercedes Moné ego has completely gone off the cliff. She is in Knight Rider hitting turbo boost, jumping a river. That's who she is right now with her ego. Did you see what she said the latest about Megan Thee Stallion?
She talked to Megan Thee Stallion about doing her entrance music and coming to the ring with her.
Collab or something, yes.
Yes. She wants to do a rap record. Supposedly, she's working on a rap record. And she wants to have Megan Thee Stallion involved and then come to the ring with her in AEW. Now she's, Megan Thee Stallion is doing something with WWE. Well,
she's their new opening theme song.
Yes, she wanted to do something with WWE the whole time. The whole time. Going back a year, 2 years. And with Vince there, you really could... Megan who? Why you call her Stallion, pal? So
I think I kind of like it, though.
I think I kind of like it, pal. What was that song? WAP? What was that?
Does she know what a German roast beef is?
God. Damn it, pal.
German roast beef. No, it's not Arby's.
Has she ever been hit with fried ice cream? Go ahead. LC Killer, 17. Moxley Group be renamed the Whippersnappers. Like the Romper Stompers, the Whippersnappers.
We're going to talk about that. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. We are going to be talking about that here shortly. But can you imagine the ego on somebody? Because there's no way that this deal happened just because she happened to mention this. They've been talking for a while. They got the money in the right place. They had the SmackDown opening thing open. She had to approve any kind of pre-production plans on how they use her song. Like, what are we talking about here? Are you serious right now with this? Is this a real quote from her?
Moné. Megan Thee Stallion obviously thought that Moné was still in WWE.
Thank you again, LC Killer, for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, brother.
She also said, Don, that her work at AEW has elevated women's wrestling across the globe. Across the globe, Don. Her work in New Japan, her work in AEW. Yes, her work in AEW.
Seeing.
Nobody's seen. Now nobody's seen her at all last 2 weeks.
We're going to talk about that. Don't give away the dog. Don't give away the lead.
Here, boy.
Here is one of the craziest things I didn't think I'd have on my bingo card this year. AEW is discussing making Donna Purrazzo the leader of a new faction.
Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers.
Snooki Purrazzo here to represent Slim Fast.
Snooki Purrazzo for Ozempic.
Oh, I got nothing on that. Nothing on that.
The goose is loose, pal. Moxley is such a tryhard. Thank you, Grey Goose, 545 for the 2 spot. Jim Ross has entered the chat. He's always good to have around. Jim, we're going to talk about you later on the show too.
I am kind of hard. We're going to talk about too, Grey Goose, about the tryhard that is in fact Jon Moxley and his American History X persona. That I'm not sure they thought this all the way through before they let Tony Schiavone let that out of the bag. You could have said a lot. You didn't have to say anything about who this was based on, number one. It just wasn't needed. And now we're going to talk about this in a minute because I don't give a shit who you are. It's not a good look that this got out of the bag, and then you had what happened last night. That shit just went sideways.
I want to see Pac shave his head too.
Dude, them ears, holy shit, them ears.
He's trying to camouflage.
He looked like a gremlin.
Ears.
He looked like a gremlin.
He does. Have you ever seen him with the hair slicked back and all pulled up in a ponytail with his glasses on? Supposedly his real name is Ben. Ben Pac. Maybe, I don't know. His real first name is Ben. It's not Adrian Neville or whatever he used to be called in WWE. It's Ben. Ben. The two of us.
If he runs fast enough, he will take off. He will just take flight.
That's why Vince wanted to give him a Mighty Mouse style gimmick when he was in WWE. That's why when he was known as Neville, he came to the ring wearing a cape. He was going to have a mask and gloves and the whole 9 yards. That gimmick that Nikki Cross had was going to be for Pac.
All he needed was a tail, and he was ready to go. Little tail fin, and he's taken off.
Sure.
Bottles, are we ready to talk about AEW? Because we got a lot to get in and a very short time to get there. The ratings for this week were 685,000. I repeat,
687, Don.
687. Okay, excuse me. I thought it was 685. 687,000 people.
When you're on a sinking ship, Don, every 2,000 counts.
I don't disagree with you. Brother Fluff says, Moné is the worst thing to come out of Boston since the New Kids on the Block. Oh, man.
When the man's right, he's right.
Oh.
What song was that?
The
Right Stuff?
The Right Stuff.
Stuff.
Something when I met you. Something when I did a kiss. I don't know the freaking lyrics. I'm going to get really pissed now. Look at me. I don't know what the hell it goes.
They did have a song that I actually liked back in the day. It was a slow song. It was a slow song. It was a hit. I forgot the name of it. I think the other kid, Jordan Knight, he sang it.
Probably something about "Oh Girl." So I think that's, I know, I sort of remember it. So
yeah,
I hope you all enjoyed that. You won't be getting any more New Kids on the Block renditions out of me today. 687,000. Let's get into this. I said the Big Bang Theory was a weak lead-in. It wasn't one of their stronger shows. Please don't go, girl. Thank you. There it is. That was the song. Thank you, chat. Weak Big Bang Theory lead-in. It was shorter than last week, and I said the conglomeration is coming out with pockets. This can't go well. He kills ratings. He's not a draw. It's a one-note joke. Everybody has moved away from this. No one cares to see this.
Don, it's just terrible. It's horrible.
No, because it gets better, or in this case, worse. He's facing Chris Jericho in this match, which I had totally forgot this was a thing.
I know,
so
Don.
It just said, no, here we come.
I know, Don. You made me watch that show, so I saw it, and it was fantastic.
I also noted there was a female ring announcer last night. That was, they made mention that the other guy was away. I don't know if he's got something personal going on, but he wasn't there.
He might have been sick. He might have lost his voice. Justin Roberts. I hope he lost his voice and can't find it. Can't stand that guy.
This building holds 10,000 people.
Wait, whatever. From
wherever.
I hate that.
It's horrible. It's horrible. This building holds 10,000 tickets. They distributed 2,955. Distributed. They distributed less than a third of the building size. I don't think that's very good.
No shit, Don.
Okay. The learning tree comes out. I'll be curious about the ratings of this match and how it starts. What did we start at? Because this match went through the first 15 minutes and got through the first quarter. What did we start at? What was the first quarter?
What did we say the total rating for the show was? 687.
Yes.
Correct? They started out as 782 with the Big Bang Theory 4-minute lead-in. 782.
Okay. The 15-minute mark, what do they get down to?
724.
That's not terrible. That's 60,000 roughly that said, I'm going to get out of here now.
Right.
Not terrible. I'm actually surprised that number stayed that high, because here's the other talking point of this show. There is video and photos of the fans in the building that when they announced Chris Jericho was the first match, a ton of people got up and said, I'm going to take a leak, or I'm going to get a beer, or I'm going to get some popcorn now. I don't need to see this. If you guys haven't seen it, it's absolutely insane. They just got up and left. And there's a guy that took a couple of pictures of it. It's like before the match, when the match is going on, they just said, I don't want to be here anymore. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. The highlight of this entire match to me was Chris Jericho. He hit a lion salt. I was impressed with it. He actually hit a lion salt and delivered on it, something he hasn't done in forever. I said this goes through the break. I said the horse won't do a count out, right? And this is what sort of pissed me off. The horse won't do a count out.
The horse won't do a count out. The horse. My Little Pony won't do the count out.
Star Bright, whatever you want to call her.
Did you notice she's got a new thing now? When a guy's in the corner and the guy who threw him in the corner is standing in the ring, in the middle of the ring, she sidles over because she knows the camera's on that guy. She sidles over real slow. She does a canter over to the guy in the middle of the ring so she can be on camera. She's always got to be on every single shot. She's got to be in every single shot.
Again, she goes over there, won't count him out.
No.
But as Pockets is laying the boots to Chris Jericho, she starts giving him the count for the boots. Like, she's like, 1, 2. She's like screaming at him. Mm-hmm. You've got to be kidding me right now. That's can't be good. That can't be.
She's trying to get herself over. She's not trying to get the talent over or stay in the background like a regular referee would. She's trying to get herself over every chance she can. You saw her at the pay-per-view, all in, when she stepped over to one of the sides of the ring and was waving everybody like she's Tim Waltz.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great, Don.
Anyway, Low Plains Drifter gets into it with Briscoe. OC wins. Play the Pixies. I hate the Pixies. They suck. I hate the Pixies. I'm going to say it. I hate the Pixies.
It looked like Mickey Rourke versus a DoorDash delivery driver in the ring. You ever see The Wrestler? You saw The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. That's what it looked like. Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler versus a DoorDash driver while 4 homeless men fought outside the ring. That's what it looked like.
Look, I will give Big Boy credit. He doesn't look like a homeless guy. He looks the part. Why do you have to take everything I love away from me? Why do you got to do that, Don? Well, I'd like for Big Bill to get the hell away from all of this because who was it that he fought off with, by the way? Which one was he fighting off with?
Doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, the whole thing sucked. Also, I did notice this other point.
Have you heard this?
Did you notice?
Have you heard this? We're talking about Big Bill. Big Bill's trying to get Enzo Amore in AEW.
Sure he isn't. I still don't buy that. I don't care. I also noticed this. Did you notice that Chris Jericho, when he did the Walls of Jericho, that is no longer the tactical Walls of Jericho. He's just gone full Boston Crab. Can we stop calling it the Walls of Jericho? The Walls of Jericho used to be when he would get you up and he would put that knee in your back and hold your legs. Now he's just gone full. I know he can't, but that's what I'm saying. He's just going full Boston Crab now.
He's almost going full Matt Hardy now, where his legs are going to be backwards and he can't bend his back anymore. He's got the midsection of Snooki Perazzo. He should just hang it up. It's over. Like I told Tony Khan, which I replied to one of his tweets online, and he probably just had that fucking that damn guy.
Anyway,
but, I said, just tell Jericho to retire. Take him off TV. Have him be an agent. Say, it's it, Chris. You're done.
The reason I ask about Big Bill is because he was fighting Kyle O'Reilly, which looked absurd on the face of it. He's literally got that arm that looks like it's going to fall off at any minute, and he's going to fight off the 7-foot, 300-pound monster, and Big Bill's going to have a problem with them. This is what I'm talking about, man. The absurdity to all of this is just beyond the pale. I couldn't deal with it. I'm moving on to the next moment, which had Pat. And I said, we have gone into segment 2 now. We're there.
Sure.
Wheeler is apparently the champ in this faction, but he's gone. The audio sucks again backstage. And I wrote, what is with the white shirts? And is this really going to pay homage to that Skinhead movie?
They are the 6-man tag team champions. That's what
without a 6-man.
Without a 6-man. And that's why Claudio and Moxley, who doesn't have that belt, and Pac are trying to get Wheeler to talk to them. He doesn't want to talk to them.
That's what I really noticed it, because the white T-shirts, and then I went and looked up the movie that this whole thing is based on, right? What's it called again?
It's called Romper Stomper, and I will show
Romper
you
Stomper.
What he looks like.
It was a early Russell Crowe movie about a racist faction, and they all wore white wife beaters.
Again,
they're all
neo-Nazi skinheads on a destructive rampage. That's what it says down here in the description on the DVD cover. Romper Stomper.
This isn't coming from Donnie and Bottles. This isn't coming from us. This is what Tony Schiavone said he being Moxley was basing his character on right now, was this guy. They could have done it anyway and not said anything. And that would have probably been okay. If you're going to base it on some portion of some bullcrap movie that nobody's seen, that's fine. But when you openly say, yeah, he's going to use the gimmick that was used in a Nazi movie, I don't think that's the smartest move. And then what happens later is what makes you go, oh my God, were they not thinking this thing through?
Well, Don, Tony Khan doesn't like the blacks, so that's why he would... Allegedly. All depends who you talk to. And that's why he would just look the other way.
Moné. See, this is why I don't believe all that. He likes Moné.
Well, she's half Puerto Rican, Don.
Your words, not mine. I'm not going to say that.
What's wrong with being half Puerto Rican, Don?
That's not what the hell are you talking about?
You said your words, not mine. I don't want to go along with all that, or something like that. You said.
Marvez is with Wheeler. He left the belt.
Is he Puerto Rican? Event. Is Marvez Puerto Rican?
I just think he sucks. I don't care what nationality he is. He sucks in any country.
Horrible. He's horrible.
The Wheeler useless, or the Wheeler Yuta thing. I want to talk about this for a minute, because a lot of people thought that he screwed this up from the get-go. Everybody's like, he named the wrong event, this and that. He named the wrong event on purpose. He forgot his belt on purpose to make it look like he just is so torn up inside that he doesn't know what to do. Now that his faction has beat the shit out of his childhood idol, Bryan Danielson. That's where we are.
Who?
Bryan Danielson.
You said his name wrong.
Oh, I said it right.
You said it right. But it was wrong for you. Normally he's Daniel Bryanson.
That's that guy.
Why do you have to take away everything I love?
I don't know, but it makes me happy. When you cry, I feel alive inside. Your mother's a whore. Just this whole segment was awful, man. I didn't like any of this. It had no business on this thing. It doesn't mix well with what's going on. I can't look at Wheeler Yuta and not see job guy. I just can't. I'm sorry. Everything about him says small job guy. Good athlete, good job guy. So that's what I got. And then we get the Roderick Strong segment on the microphone. I actually didn't mind him on the microphone. I don't know what you thought about him. What did you think about him on the mic overall?
Come on, man. He could cut a promo. Okay, he was never one for cutting promos. His time in NXT, he was terrible in the microphone. But they forced him into it because he was the guy who was in charge of training the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. He took over that faction when Stokely Hathaway moved over to AEW. He took over that faction and was training those guys. He was their coach. And he was forced to cut promos. He was a little shaky. But he came into his own when he moved over into AEW. He did come into his own with the whole Adam, that whole routine. You remember that?
No, that was horrible. I hated that. Hated every bit of that.
It was designed to get us to hate it. He was a heel.
Yeah, but it's not good heat. It's go away heat. This guy has got real heat with me now.
That's all they know.
So.
That's all they know over there in AEW. Go away heat.
So this match started off, and up goes the sign, and you hear Tony Schiavone. There's the sign. It's Hook. And I said, oh, shit. We're going to get a Hook moment. I did not expect this. And he comes out to fight Tattoo Jones.
What was that guy? Who was that guy?
I wrote his name down. I swear to God. JD Inc.
Checks out. Name checks out. Go ahead.
I just wrote, what WTF, how awful. This is a squash match. Please end everything that Hook has to do with this show. I don't care to see him anymore. I know there was a time where you thought he had something. You even have to say now you're out on Hook.
They let him talk. He never should talk, especially talking with a mouthful of nacho Doritos. He shouldn't talk. It was garbage. Everything he says, the way he says it, it's all garbage. His father was a great promo. His father should talk to him to work on his promos. Maybe he's the kind of kid that won't take advice from the old man. Who knows? It's horrible.
Anyway, I just want to say again, thank you all for watching tonight. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. We're 15 away from 1,000. We've been working hard for it. We appreciate all your support. Super chats are open. If you saw something this hot garbage you want to talk about, let us have it.
And give us a ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling. Right down below. Set your notification bell so you'll never miss an episode of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast.
And
I got to stop looking at that chat.
yeah, it's out of control. Hit it like you're at a P. Diddy party, pal. That's all I can tell you.
The chat's having their own P. Diddy party going on right now.
They are. You sick bastards. Marvez again. I said, this dude will not go away. And then Private Party cuts a good promo. Did they not cut a good promo? Okay. We're going to disagree, I can see.
Moxley said it best. Maybe 15 minutes later. You've been here for 5 years and you're still in the same place you were 5 years ago. The same position in the card.
We're going to talk about that.
He said it best.
I thought it was good. I'm giving them props for this. They tried. It didn't bore me. It at least entertained me. Christian Cage segment and the audio goes to trash again. They cannot get this audio in the back to consistently not suck. And I don't know if it's because they've got some segments that are taped and some that are live or what's going on to cause it, but it is awful. They can't
level the volume. They can't level the volume. They probably tape these things before the show starts, these pre-tapes in the back, and they can't level the volume.
Did you notice, though, that there's like an echo when they're talking backstage sometimes?
Right. Bad acoustics.
It's like
they're doing it in the wrong spot backstage.
It's like two booms are picking up the sound.
Right. It's terrible.
I didn't mind this because the next thing that happened was awful. We got Serena Deep and Mariah May versus Queen Abdullah Oblongata and the worst music I've ever heard in my life. Oh, Yukin came out here to wrestle.
Yuki, what's her name?
I got nothing but Yukin. That's what I got out of it. I thought she was Ryu
Kazasaki. Yuka Kawakazaki. Yeah, whatever.
I wrote down Street Fighter name. That's how I remembered it because it was. I'm not doing this.
For those of you who are watching this and you've watched NXT, you watched NXT maybe 4 years ago. She was NXT as Saray, not Saraya. Saray, Sarray. She had a Japanese schoolgirl gimmick. Did it better than Riho, though. But that was Saray. And she's currently in AEW under her real name. Because Mariah May wanted to bring her in. So, there you go. Good times. Good times, Don. Another great decision by Tony Khan. The Lord is my shepherd, and so is Tony Khan.
I wrote down 200 reversals out of the gate. It's a women's match going from the second quarter into the third. What are the ratings right here? What are the 8:30 ratings, and then what are the 8:45 ratings?
You caught me with my pants down, Don. Hang on a second.
It's not the first time.
That's true. You know,
You're the one with all the...
That whole segment could have been apartment wrestling. They could have just had that in somebody's apartment. Well, that happened between 8:30 and 8:45.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. What was the 8:30? What was the 8:45?
682 was the 8:30 and 674 was the 8:45.
They got the hell out of Dodge right here. Everybody said, that's enough. I'm out of here. I don't need to see Yukin. I don't need to see Serena Deep, and I do not need to see Abdullah Oblongata in a match. None of this needs to happen.
Did you see Mariah May whiff that belt shot to that girl's head? Completely
Whiffed the
missed
shit
it.
out of it.
Whiffed it. Completely missed it. She had one job to do and she blew it. Horrible.
I said, DQ belt shot. I don't need to see anything else. This has gone nowhere. Horrible, all of it. Don't care. Moving on. Because guess what we got next?
We got a white on black crime.
No.
Got a hate
we got
crime.
Tits McGee.
Oh, doing her promo. Yes.
Tits McGee's coming back.
I
So
want
everybody
you.
can be happy.
I want you, but I don't know who you are. I want you. Master Thespian, Tits McGee.
Who is this program supposed to appeal to is my honest-to-God question.
15-year-old boys naked from the waist down eating Cheetos and chugging Mountain Dew on a plastic dollar store tarp on their basement floor. That's who it appeals to.
The chat
That's who
says
it
you
appeals-
got Yuki and Saraya mixed up. They're two different people.
No.
Saraya is
Saray
apparently a champion in Marigold now.
Saray is a champion in Marigold. Who cares? Who cares?
Oh, God. I can't do this anymore.
I
Tits
get the
McGee
whole 15 minutes. I'll give it one White Castle slider and one bottle of Jergens. That's all I'll give it, Don. It's back. That's all I'll give it, Don. At first, I was going to give it 3 White Castle sliders. And then
that's way too generous.
She missed a belt shot, Don, so we're just down to 1 White Castle slider and a bottle of Jergens. That's all I can say. It is what it is, Don.
OU Kid is going for a title shot next week against Mariah May on that TV special.
Can't wait
we
to
get to see
it.
her again. I can't wait.
It'll be fantastic.
It's going to be a 5-star banger. Oh, you can be prepared. They get a weird Nigel segment glitch that they tried to restart it twice. It said, it's not ready. Something's gone wrong.
Run the Taco Bell commercial.
I swear I was waiting on it. I was waiting on the Taco Bell commercial to chime in off the top rope and end this on its knees right here.
My name is Nigel McGuinness, and I've come for the Gordita Crunch Wrap.
Do you still have huevos nachos tacos? Where's that little dog, man? I miss a little dog. Anyway,
I'll take a pint of Guinness and a Nachos Bel Grande.
Serious question. Do you care about this match yet? Do you care?
With who? What match? McGuinness and Danielson?
Yeah. Do you care yet?
I never watched ROH in 2003. Who cares? Who cares? You know he didn't retire because he had hepatitis, Don.
That's what I keep. I'm not getting into this.
He retired because of feelings. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm not even getting into what he said today. Just ridiculous.
Just
nothing about this. I don't care about this. Look, Bryan Danielson's got his fans. That's great. I don't care. I believe his time has come and gone. I'm not that guy.
I believe he can fly.
I believe he can fly all right. He can fly home and be happy. He's got paid. I don't know why he insists on doing this. Mox and company come out, get attacked by Private Party on their way to the ring, and immediately kicks the shit out of them. We got the skinhead group beating up a couple of
young
African-American gentlemen.
Yes.
I get it, right? Like this, how do I put this? Is not a good look if your announcer says that the guy that Moxley's basing it on is a white supremacist. I don't understand the mindset. I don't get this at all. Even if it's loosely based, why do you put that out in the ether of the universe to let people know? It is not a good look. I don't give a shit who you are. And I'm not saying that it's a racist segment at all. If they had have never said this, nobody would have ever thought about this in this light, correct? No one would have thought about it this light.
Is he just afraid to tell the talent there are certain things you can't do? Is he just afraid? Is he?
He's got to be.
He's got to be.
What's next? Hey, Tony, have you seen that movie American History X? Here's what I'm thinking. Stop the conversation there. Stop it.
Right.
God, the entire look of this after it was the cat's out of the bag, horrible idea, goes nowhere. Why is Marina Shafir allowed to keep beating the piss out of men? just whacking the shit out of him like a whack-a-mole. Why is this happening?
Why is she running around with Moxley and Claudio? What got them together? It's never been explained. For that matter, it's never been explained why Tony Khan let the Elite pile drive him and Jack Perry pile drive him, beat him up, and usurp control of his TV show. And he's never tried to fire them. He's never tried to get the show back in storyline, in kayfabe. He's never had security come out and escort them out of the building. He's never done any of that. He's never got a faction together to beat the hell out of those guys. He just took it.
And we've covered this before on the show, so let's talk about it again now. For those of you who haven't heard us talk about it, it's in the archives. You can check us out on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button and subscribe. 15 away from that magic bus number. Jon Moxley sees himself as a modern-day Stone Cold Steve Austin. The problem is no one else with a set of eyes that saw Stone Cold Steve Austin sees him in that light. No one does. He's not a Roddy Piper. He's not a Jake Roberts. He's not a Stone Cold. He's not any of these guys. He wants it to be him so bad he can taste it. He is a cosplay wannabe Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what he is.
He's got big dreams, Don. He's got big dreams. Why you got to take everything away from Jon Moxley? You're taking away everything he loves. Why? I think Jon Moxley's a good hand. I think he's a great promo. I think that he's going to go places. He's going to.
You know, places. You can go to hell for lying, right? Not just murder, but you could go to hell for lying. City sin. So you should pray now. Anyway, this thing goes on for far too long. And then Commander comes back, and I said, watch them kick the shit out of him right now. Because sure enough, they kicked the shit out of him right away.
We got a 15-minute segment.
And he's gone.
We got a 15-minute segment. The viewers are leaving in droves. I know. Let's add Commander to the mix. Let's sprinkle a nice helping of Commander across this shit sandwich.
That'll help. Where's the shit spreader? We got this. To where Marina Shafir immediately kicks the shit out of him. It was what's his name first that tattooed him, then she got her shot in.
You know, we sit here and we talk about this show every week about how bad it is. And the reason why we do that is because we hope it gets better. I don't watch this show, and we hope it gets better. Neither do I, because I know it's a lost cause. He's going to do what he wants to do. It's a lost cause.
No, I can't even hide my disdain anymore. I so want this company to continue to be a flop just because the fan base is so toxic. Anytime you would give a valid criticism or a valid point or say, here's why I didn't like the show, immediate fire back is, did you know Vince McMahon is a sexual predator? Every single time. I didn't mention WWE. They got nothing to do with the conversation. Did you know that Vince McMahon's a sexual predator and Triple H enabled him? Did you know that? How can you support that company? Newsflash. People are going to be people. By the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars are still under investigation for a sexual issue from a flight attendant on a plane of a company that the Khans own.
Sure. Hush money was paid to several female employees that passed through the AEW aegis. We could name a couple of them, but you already know their names. It was all over the internet maybe about a year ago. They had little bad encounters with Chris Jericho, and money was paid out, and NDAs were signed. BJ Bethel, a guy from Ring of Honor, was backstage. He was backstage as an agent. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was in a domestic assault with his wife. He beat his wife up badly and got put in jail for it, restraining orders and all that. The wife had to sign an NDA, and she got paid off to keep her mouth shut. BJ Bethel, I don't believe he's employed by AEW anymore. Tony Khan would be a fool to have him on the payroll. So a lot of shenanigans going on backstage in AEW that the little boy with the billions of dollars in a sack can just throw the money around and make it
pay
all
off
go
anybody.
Away. Pay off anybody. He don't care. It's like paying a parking ticket.
Anyway, this thing keeps going on. Darby comes out. They don't fight. Worst face-off ever. Why?
Can't they just tell him, look, don't buy your clothes from the women's department in TJ Maxx, okay? Your ring gear, don't buy from the women's department in TJ Maxx. Fix your face paint. It's all smeared when you go out. Maybe do a little something different with it. Stop riding the frickin' skateboard. Get rid of the skateboard. And you got to wear the Herman Munster shoes so you can see eye to Adam's apple with the other talent. Go ahead, feel free. But you look ridiculous. And he does look ridiculous.
We have two very different views on his outfits. You think he's going to an actual store. I think he's going to a thrift store and buying all that shit. He looks like he came out of a thrift store on Pity Tuesday, happy as a clam and chowder. Just look at my shitty shoes. Them boots are some Herman Munster looking shits, man. They are terrible. If you guys have not taken enough time to check out my man's boots, please do yourself a favor.
Same boots every week. Every time you see him, he's got the same boots on. Never changes.
Forrest Gump as a child would have been embarrassed to wear them bitches.
I've seen those shoes on quite a few Triple Crown winners, Don. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't get it.
Well, Don, TJ Maxx is maybe one step above a thrift store. So it's right up there with Marshall's, Don. I think they're owned by the same company.
I think they are too. Marshall's, though, when you go to a Marshall store, they pat you down for a gun. If you don't have one, they give it to you. So you're not shopping here without that, pal.
Yeah.
You look like a walking pickpocket waiting to happen. Anyway, back to our show. We get a Jack Perry segment.
Can you believe? Hang on a second. Before
what's the numbers after this? Because I think this is not.
I got one more point about Darby Allin. Can you believe that he was married to Gigi Dolan from NXT? You've seen her before. When the show's over, Don, go on Google and Google pictures of Gigi Dolan. And that was Darby Allin's wife. And he fumbled the bag, as they say.
I will have to Google that. I don't think they were married.
They were married.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to follow you up. Can we get back to the ratings? What was it at the 9 o'clock hour, and what was it at the 9 o'clock hour? As far as who was on the TV screen.
It was 7:15, Don. The race riot brought in some viewers. As most televised race riots will bring the viewers, Don. They bring eyeballs.
Do.
Yes, they typically do. So
they should have had Michael Jackson playing in the background. It's black, it's white.
715,000 people tuned in. But it's the 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, Don.
Yes. So everybody's going to tune in to see what's going on.
I wonder if it got any better. I'm going to put it back on, honey. I wonder if it got any better.
Oh, I was wrong. This was a mistake.
They're beating up those black fellas again. We got to get out of here.
Jack Perry segment in the short bus. I need to understand something. Why are the police chasing the short bus?
They think he's a serial killer. He thinks he's a serial killer from Lexington, Kentucky.
None of this made any sense. The short bus is getting away from the police. He's outrunning them. What the hell was this?
Was he wearing a helmet while he was driving that short bus? That's all I want to know.
I don't understand what this was. This was so awful. This whole thing made no sense. He's just in the short bus driving around with police in pursuit, and they can't catch him.
They think he stole it.
This whole thing sucked.
They think some young, learning disabled man stole a short bus that he was being driven to school in. He stole it, knocked out the bus driver, and was just riding around the parking lot in it.
No, I think you had it right with that first part of that statement.
Mentally disabled?
You had that part right. You didn't need to go on. Anyway, Ricochet versus Mantar. And I wrote this down. We have not gotten a single promo from Ricochet. Not one.
No.
And he said when he left WWE, they said, well, you can't cut a promo. Like a fan put that on Twitter. His response was, I haven't been given the chance. What's changed? Because I swear to God, this feels like the most lateral move I've ever seen a wrestler make in my life.
He's cut promos in WWE. Don't let him fool you. I've seen them. You've seen them too. They're all forgettable. But you've seen them and I've seen them. Now he's wrestling a goat-faced boy.
Mantar.
He's wrestling a goat-faced boy.
I'm sticking to Mantar.
He was wrestling Mantar too. Mantar Jr.
Again, I'm going to
doing the flips, doing the same shtick is what he did in WWE. Nothing's changed, Don.
The chat says you're wrong about Gigi Dolan. They say meh.
What's that?
Average. They say average at best. You must have got. She must be a two-face. She might be a two-face.
She's not a two-face, pal. No,
she might be a two-face.
She's two-cheeked, if you know what I'm saying, pal.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Pal, let me tell you.
This match, though.
If you're watching TV with Gigi Dolan, you could lose the remote control between those cheeks. Just like sofa cushions, pal. I'm just saying. I'm going
to continue on.
What's that?
Mantar Ricochet. It's a Ricochet match. You know what you're going to get every time. It's going to be the same flippy moves. There's no storytelling. It's how many times can you beat me up and I come back and I do 35 flips and eventually I pin you.
Sure.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is, Don.
Okay. What did you think? I mean, that's my input.
What did I think?
Yeah.
During this match?
During any portion of this part of the program.
I thought that I had a nice bladder draining during this match. A nice bladder draining. The kind that makes you go, Then I got another drink, and I stumbled back to the couch, and the goat boy was still fighting the flippy boy. And somehow, in their no-contact match, somebody got pinned.
You fell into a coma.
Somebody got pinned.
Ricochet wins. When did this end? When did this segment end? Did this end at the 9:15 hour? It had to.
For me, it ended when I had a razor blade in one hand.
Can you take a... Don't say that. Can you take a look?
I'll take a look right
now.
now.
The 9:15 hour, what was it? It had to be Ricochet.
6:61, Don.
Ooh, get the hell out of here. What was it at 9 o'clock again?
7:15 for the race riot. And then 6:61 for the wrestling goat boy.
So 54,000 people said, I'm out of here.
Yeah, they're waiting for the bearded lady and
wow.
The guy who bites the head off of chickens. They're waiting for him to come out, and nothing happened.
Wow.
And then you had Hangman Page cutting a promo.
Yes, I was about to get to that. The Adam Page segment where he is all upset with Tony Schiavone, which I didn't get.
I didn't understand it either, but I did enjoy it because he showed some fire. Schiavone, it looked like the hair dye was running out, dripping down the side of his face. He was sweating it out. And the guy who cut the best promo in the whole show showed up. You know who I'm talking about.
Who?
Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, though, something about this, which, by the way, chat, y'all are out of your minds. Love the chat. Thank you, guys. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. The super chat is open. Next question about this whole thing. I thought we were done with Swerve Strickland and Adam Page, Bottles. I thought we were over that. And we're still going back to it. How many times is this? Eventually, this has to end. Like, I felt like that was the end when you shoved a needle in his mouth and then whacked him with a steel chair. I thought it was over then. Why are we still rehashing this?
It is over. It's done. He's just bringing it up to sidestep into a new angle with Jeff Jarrett. They're going to have a match next week, probably. At Grand Slam. Or at
I think they're setting this up for the pay-per-view.
At Wrestle Slam. At Grand Dream, they're going to have a match.
At the Waffle House. It's going to be
at the Waffle House. The last outlaw, as Jeff Jarrett calls himself, and his leather-faced wife. They're going to come to the ring together with Jay Lethal.
I'm not doing that. But I did want to ask you about this.
What's
I did want to ask you.
Her face is made out of leather.
Did you notice Kara Jarrett has got to be in every single segment that Jeff Jarrett is involved in? She has got to run to the ring every time.
She was like that in TNA when she was with Angle and then with Jarrett. Same thing. She was like that in TNA.
I also wanted to ask you this.
Pal.
Jeff Jarrett.
Pal. A lot of these wives, and I'm looking, I can think of one right now, and her name rhymes with Schmissy Schmeefcake. You know who I'm talking about.
Old leather jugs. Now, that is leather jugs.
Now,
for those of you that don't know, let's go back on the Wayback Machine. For those of you that don't know, Missy Beefcake is not a fan of our program because we reviewed her and her husband's little show. and we were pretty honest in our opinion on how they
Dark side of the
appeared
ring.
on this thing.
Dark
Yes.
side of the ring.
Dark side of the ring. Needless to say, she looked leathery and chapped and looked like a horse that had been rode hard and put away wet. And we pretty much commented on that.
If you wet her lips, you could stick her face with a window, and she would hang there for days.
So we made our feelings known, and she came after us on Twitter, which was amazing. So that was a pretty fun day. Anyway.
Missy Saddlebags beefcake. Beefcake. Not beef case. Beefcake.
She's got beef cakes.
She's got beefcakes, all right.
We talked about it. She's got that
bologna loaves.
The bologna loaves.
The bologna loaves are hanging down. You ever go to the deli counter, Don, and you look in the case? How much is the boar's head? How much is the beefcake? What's the price difference? I'll have 2 pounds of beefcake and 1 pound of boar's head. Can
I get the one with the extra long olive? No. The green olive.
Oh, my God. And your son will say, Dad, there's a nipple in my sandwich.
Yes, he will. Why?
Why
But did
is
you
that?
notice that Jeff Jarrett got the shit kicked out of him as soon as he got to the ring? Just kicked the shit out of him. Why are we going to have this angle? He just beat his ass.
And he got back up while Hangman's walking up the ramp, and he cut a promo on him. He says, I don't care where it is, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, but I am going to be the man, the last outlaw to kick your ass. And I believe it.
I believe it too. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Please like and subscribe to the program. On our march to 1,000, we're 15 away. The last thing I watched on this match was Renee and Ricochet and Ocean Spray backstage. And I said, we finally get a Ricochet segment. October 2nd, Ricochet.
What?
He's going to get his match.
I thought that was next week.
Yeah, they said October 2nd.
Well, okay. So Wrestle Dream's not next week. It's in 2 weeks.
I thought it was next week. But I wrote it down. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
I thought Wrestle Dream was next week from the way Marvez was talking.
It
Wrestle
is.
Dream's next week. Okay, well, then that's when they're going to have the match. He's going to give it away to try to pop a rating. Probably do a half-hour match. He's going to try to pop a rating.
I don't think this is next week. I think this is October 2nd for their 5-year anniversary. That's what I'm saying. That's what he mentioned. It's the 5-year anniversary in 2 weeks.
Who cares? Does anybody really know?
Who
knows?
I'm trying to take copious notes here, man. So we're finally going to get this match, which, by the way, it's not on pay-per-view. It's none of those things.
I got the Google machine right here. I'll just keep
I'm telling you, it's the 5-year anniversary. I know it is. They've been celebrating it all over the place. They could have had a build-up for this match. They could have had them going back and forth on the microphone.
On the pay-per-view's October 12th.
Yes.
AEW Grand Slam
is September 26th, I believe.
September 25th.
25th, okay.
Which is next week. So that's when they're going to have the match next week. They're trying to
No, they're not. They're not. They're having it October 2nd. Bottles, I'll bet you pizzas. I'll bet you 3 pizzas right now.
We're not doing that again.
I'll bet you 3 pizzas right now. If you're so confident in this, take my bet. Go Google the shit. Take my bet.
Right now. I'm not taking your bet. Ricochet versus Ospreay.
For those of you that don't know, Bottles has lost multiple double or nothing pizza bets. Chat, if you get a moment, because this is... Oh, there we go. The chat's speaking up.
October
Don
2nd.
is correct. Don is correct.
October
Don is
2nd.
correct.
Free TV, October 2nd. Not a pay-per-view. It's
Not next...
free television.
Yes.
Not next week, the week after. So 2 weeks.
Like I said, Johnny Bottles.
Whatever.
What was the 9:30 hour? We covered that, right? Did we cover the 9:30 number?
6:41. They're just
It's
falling
just
away. They're just falling away because the Elite came out.
Well, here's what I was going to write down. Ocean Spray, and I don't care now. I'm out. I'm not watching anything about the Elite. I don't care. I'm not watching this. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to give a shit. I don't even know who won this match. I didn't watch it. Turned it off. Don't care. So please tell me, Johnny Bottles, who won the match, what happened, and what was the final rating? And once again, what was the overrun? Because I do want to talk about the overrun because Dave Meltzer had a meltdown today.
I don't know who won the match, Don. I don't know who won the match because I didn't get the overrun. I didn't see it. It cut off.
But Dave says that well, you don't have YouTube anymore either, do you?
No, I've got Sling TV.
Oh. Well, Dave says that it does it automatically on YouTube.
Does it what automatically?
The overrun.
It doesn't do the overrun automatically.
So what's the overrun rating? Did it go up? Did it go down?
It went down.
Oh, did it?
When the match started, Don, it was 6:41. And when the overrun hit...
What was the 10 o'clock hour?
6:37. Then it went down to 6:27.
So everybody said, I'm getting out of here. I don't need to
I'm getting out of here. Where's Ed O'Neill? Where's Sofia Vergara? Gone. By the way, Meltzer says, record the first 15 minutes. You got to record Modern Family also. So it goes right on through in a Modern Family. You'll see the last 6 minutes of AEW on the Modern Family recording.
So that was the AEW review. I appreciate you all sticking through this. It was
It was one of the worst television shows I've ever seen.
It was about as bad as the product as AEW has ever put out. I didn't care for much of anything in this. The few parts I liked, I talked about. I don't know how it can get any worse, but guess what? Guess what, Bottles?
What's that?
Look at me when I'm talking to you. They're going to do it next week and surprise us.
Do what next week?
See,
do it again?
Be
just as bad? Of course they will.
Well, look at you just messing with that cigar. So focused on that cigar. Those are the news and tidbits I got. SmackDown is tomorrow. It is a 2-hour show. I will be watching live. I'm not going to DVR it. I want to see what goes on.
Uh-huh.
I think you've had a couple of notes you wanted to talk about. Are they worthwhile getting into? Because the TV contract for AEW is still very much the talk of the internet. Have you seen that today?
They're always talking about it, Don.
Also, according to sources, AEW is getting rid of Rampage and starting some show called, what's it called again? Shockwave?
Shockwave, Don, for Fox Sports 1.
Hey, Bottles, what did we talk about on Tuesday?
We talked about AEW Shockwave.
And ending Rampage.
And ending Rampage. We talked about
and
them
then
ending
Dave
Rampage
Meltzer says
months ago. We mentioned them ending Rampage months ago.
But we mentioned it. I just want to bring this up. We mentioned it this week. And then Dave Meltzer said, according to sources, apparently we're sources now.
According to Johnny Bottles and Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist, we've got Rampage is going to be canceled, and they're going to replace it with Shockwave.
I just wanted to cover that real quick.
Yeah, Don.
What else you got for me, Bottles, or is it time to tell everybody good night and watch the game?
Well, hang on, Don.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm going to put it up here, Don. Not that.
Tootie Talk. What? Oh, that's Awful Wrestling. I like Awful Wrestling. He's a good dude.
What?
Awful Wrestling's a good dude. I'd see that they went with the American History X look as well. What the hell are you doing?
What'd I just do?
I don't know what you're doing, Bottles. You're making me very confused on what
over here, Don. That's Gigi Dolan right there.
Okay, that's also very Photoshop, Bottles.
Yeah, this was Photoshop too, Don. Look at that. She almost looks like she's made out of plastic.
Almost.
There she is up there, Don.
Pablo, the real one. Thank you for the super chat. He said, when the show started with Pockets of Jericho, I was out. Pablo, you're not alone. You're not alone. Half that damn fan base bailed on this entire shenanigans of a show. No one was a fan. I don't know why Chris Jericho can't get the hint. It's odd to me.
I heard he's not happy. Didn't you say he's not happy?
That's what I heard. He's not happy.
He
wouldn't go into more detail than that.
Not happy at all, Don. He's not happy at all. Let me see what I got here. Oh, Dax Harwood revealed that he had to talk to Ash Wheeler into not retiring after his gun arrest, his road rage incident. I guess a week after he told me what happened, he said, I think I'm going to retire because I don't want to subject you to any more of this stuff that I'm going through. He knew the backlash on Twitter because it's a cesspool. I'm just going to retire. You don't have to worry because your contract's with you. I'm going to leave wrestling. I had to talk him into not retiring. So Gun FTR is going to be subjecting us to his matches with Bald FTR for the next probably 3 years. Good for them. Good on those boys. Good on those boys. They'll be back in WWE when his contract's up, shaving the Usos back all over again.
Oh, God, don't remind me of that. That was so cringe back then. That I remember tuning into that and being like, this is what my precious WWE has suddenly become. I'm out of here. I don't need this anymore.
Have you heard that Kate from Fightful got into it with a ton of people?
Why is this chick even relevant in the wrestling news area? This chick is so hell-bent on protecting anything that her boss says. It's so bizarre to me. And I'm not going to mention her boss. If you know, you know. But she's a bigger dipshit for trying to come to his defense every time she opens that yapper of hers.
She said today at 6:55 a.m., I didn't know shit about HBK or Bret Hart when I started watching wrestling. I was intellectually curious and YouTube existed. Danielson versus McGuinness had been building for 20 years. Nigel's been trying to tell you all in commentary since he got the job. You could just Google it if you aren't up to speed. A failed OnlyFans girl.
Here's my question to you.
Trying to be a wrestling reporter.
What part of them wrestling in a indie promotion has anything to do with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart having some of the greatest matches in the history of ever? And here's a clue, folks, right? Before everybody goes, those matches were great. You just don't want to admit it because it's not WWE. If they were so great, if they were so amazing, if they were spellbinding, why didn't they have a major TV contract? Why aren't they in business today? And why did they go bankrupt? You are a niche audience that no one particularly cares for. Right. That's what you are. No one wants to see guys bleeding all over the place in a rigged, predetermined outcome of a match. You can bleed sometimes, not every time you get in the ring.
Just like Ring of Honor, AEW is a televised indie promotion. That's all it is. A televised indie promotion. You got the Faded Star that's on all the indie shows. They come in, they don't job. They come in, they do their thing. Chris Jericho, Faded Star. Hey, that's one right there. You've got ex-WWE firees. Big Cass, he's Big Bill now. Hey, he used to be in WWE. I know that guy. You've got the goat-faced boy, Mantar Jr. Hey, he used to be. No, he didn't. Must be a different guy.
But he sure looks like that guy.
He sure looks like that guy. Yeah, he stole his gimmick. Just like Doink the Clown was on all the indie promotions.
Yes.
So Mantar Jr. is on all the Mexican indie promotions. You've got the TNA. You've got the lesbian angles that they do in the indie promotions. You've got that with Mariah May and Tits McGee. Then you've got the blade job guys like Moxley.
Moxley.
Yeah.
First guy that comes to mind.
Skewers,
Moxley will
light tubes, razor blades, the whole 9 yards.
I'm convinced that when Moxley checks out when he's getting groceries, if they hand the card back too fast, he falls into the aisle and blades with the card. I'm convinced of it. God, I can't stand that guy.
That he chokes out the cart boy out in the parking lot.
Absolutely. Getting his ass.
Did you hear Ken Shamrock signed a Legends deal with WWE?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Put him with American Made. He could be the coach for American Made.
You make me nervous some days, Bottles. You really do.
Why? You think it's going to happen? It very well could happen.
No. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. You know who else doesn't want it to happen?
I know exactly who doesn't.
Till next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.